I don't know.
And you would have to fight. I mean, we fight over cheese. We fight over this. Like you have drama on selling the city, but it's over real estate. This would just be drama.
I say this over and over again. I think that like women are the most incredible gender. We are detail oriented and strategic and smart. Like, trust me, we meet a guy, like we can find out we're like PIs. We can find out every single thing about a guy within minutes and who he's with. Like, I know. I always tell a guy, don't ever lie to me because I know. I already know. I'm not even like, I'm asking you because I know. But conflict resolution is just something that like women aren't inherently taught. We don't like go to like, you know, wrestling when we're kids. We don't get to like beat each other up and just like move on.
Right.
So I think like what these shows have like thrived off of is the inability of women to like resolve conflict in a very like linear, rational fashion. So I will always strive to do that, whether I'm on whatever show I'm on. But
so you might say
to
yes
just, like,
if Ronnie calls you.
I want a season 2 of Selling the City. This is, I feel like, what's meant for me. I love Netflix. I love Adam DeVello. I love my cast. I believe that there's more of a story to tell on our show. I would love to see this happen. But yeah, I mean, like, down the line, I still want to be a real estate agent. I don't know. So as long as it didn't interfere with that, I'm fine with it. But yeah, I'd rather be on Jersey. I also like happen to be more attracted to men from Jersey. So yeah, I'm more likely to be a Jersey housewife than a New York housewife, I think.
I love it.
Yeah.
Who would you, we don't know what's going on in Jersey either these days.
No, I know. Exactly. That's the thing. Like,
but what do you think was going to happen in Jersey?
I have no idea. I mean, I'm, again, just watching it as an audience. I don't even think any of them know.
No.
I always say, like, look, Teresa gave us incredible television. She's like, you know, an amazing anchor for that show. But I think her husband and that whole thing like kind of killed the vibe towards the end. So I don't know. I would guess that they'll probably, and she's probably still the biggest ratings draw. I personally am better. I've become friends with Melissa and Margaret and Rachel. They've all been incredibly supportive of me and the show. I don't know. I guess if I just like as an outsider looking in, I feel like they're probably going to recast, give it a full reboot. But that would be strange also because like, I don't know that the New York reboot was the most successful, you know, who knows?
Yeah.
I'm not Bravo. I don't know. I really don't know.
I agree with you. I think they should just call. Don't you know anyone for Roni? Because I agree with you. You're being kinder than I've been on the reboot of Roni. I love the OGs.
Yeah.
I agree. I don't think these people were friends. They didn't know each other.
Yeah.
I want to see really, really rich people.
I know,
and I
me
know
too.
that that's not, I agree with you that like the echelon, but I want to see that. I don't want to see like just, no offense to anyone. I want to see like Gossip Girl, disgusting. We live in a city where the wealth is so ridiculous.
I know.
The richest people in the world live here.
Go to Billionaires Row. They don't need to be here full time. I don't care if they're foreigner. You know what I mean?
Right.
There are people, by the way, they exist. I'm not going to like name drop, but I'm in real estate. I work with these couples all the time. They exist. They are out there. Women that definitely are ostentatious, want to show off their wealth, and will do it.
That's not a bad idea. Like, right, well, we have Meredith Marks who admits that she lives in New York and here in Palm Beach or wherever. And right. So she rents. And so let's find
like,
women
by the way, that
don't live
attack,
here.
like you rent. Okay. And
yeah, I never understood that either. You rent, but you rent and it's like $95,000
by the way, most
a
70% of New Yorkers rent. So like, who cares? Yeah.
I never understood that either. So you're right. Maybe they should call you and get some ideas of people that don't
call me.
live
I'll tell
here
you,
full time.
give you a list of my clients. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be a
bad
fun
idea.
one. Yeah. I don't care if they're like in Miami or Palm Beach part-time. Who gives a shit?
They got to do something.
Yeah.
Why did, Selling the City season 2, do we know anything? Because
we don't know anything. Netflix is the most tight-lipped of every, like Bravo has to release their numbers. We don't even have numbers. I couldn't tell you how many people watch the show. We have no ratings. We don't know anything. But I would love to believe that like they finally, after 9 seasons of Sunset, decided to do a New York version. I would love to think that they'll give us a second chance.
Yeah, and it was trending when it came out, and people like the show. You know, it really is. It feels and looks different because it's New York. It's the you know.
People look. I'm biased because I only see what I see, but I feel like people like the show. Maybe look, there was a lot that happened in January. There was a new president, there were some fires, you know what I mean? Like, so
Yeah.
I don't know that many people, I don't know how, if it really had legs, but yeah, also Sunset took a minute. People really, I think, waited until the pandemic to watch it and binge the
Yes.
first 4 seasons. I would love to see us get another chance, to show what we have, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was like season 2 during the pandemic, maybe 3, but I didn't watch the first season of Sunset. I didn't even hear of it. Yes, I watched Tiger King during the pandemic, and then you started hearing stuff, I think it was season 2 about Sunset, and then I watched, I was like, "Oh my god," and then I went back and watched season 1, and I'm like, "Ah, this is my favorite show that I've ever seen in my whole life
Yeah.
other than The Hills and Laguna Beach," and I'm like, "Oh, it's Adam DeVella." Well, there you
So
go,
of
now this
course,
all
yeah.
makes sense.
Everyone said that to me, that it really was the pandemic that made them watch that show.
Do you
So,
ever I had Jason Oppenheim on here, he told a funny story. I mean, look, we have mentions this season of Selling the City. We have Trevor Noah and
mhm.
Michael B. Jordan. Like, Jason told a funny story when he was on this podcast about, like, a funny celebrity. He said, "I showed a house to John Legend, and there was a piano," and he, like, was like, can I have a minute?" And sat down and did, like, a whole concert one-on-one for
That's so
Jason.
cool.
Do you have any, like, not confidential, but just, like, a
Yeah,
funny
fun. Sure.
celebrity
I
story?
obviously my own celebrity clients I wouldn't talk about just because like there's a fiduciary obligation there. But yeah, like early in my career, I was asked to show. I had a rental listing, it was a short-term rental. I had no idea what the condition was. They told me that the like buyer was Bob Smith, and I was too young to know better. Or that the renter was Bob Smith. And I told them, I called, the tenants were there. They were like, we're not going to vacate. So I was like, okay, their tenant's still there. We're going to have to show it while
Interesting.
they're there. And I went and I showed up, and it was Nick Jonas and one of his brothers. I think the older one. What's his name? Kevin.
Joe, Kevin, yeah.
Kevin with a
But Nick
brother. But
Jonas,
Nick is
okay.
cute,
Yeah.
right? Um,
They were the tenants?
they were the prospective tenants, and then I was going to show, and there were tenants from overseas that were there that were vacating. They told me
Interesting.
that they'd be present, and when I opened the doors, I mean, it was like an epic disaster. There were like mattresses all over the floor, and they were smoking cigarettes, and there were women, and I just like did not. It was like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I was like, obviously the tenants are here, they're leaving next week, but I didn't know what to do. But both of the Jonas brothers were very gracious about the whole showing, even though it was like a complete disaster and the apartment looked like shit.
And you didn't know it was them, right?
I
Because
had
they said
no
Bob
idea.
Smith,
Yeah,
like,
this
as
is my
a
house.
alias, and you're
Yeah.
just like, "This has to be
Yeah. Now I
whoever."
know better. Now I know like Bob Smith to Google that and make sure that it's.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And then what happened? Did you
They
ever
didn't know. Of course, they did not rent that apartment. The
and
apartment
that was
looked
the
like
end.
trash. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, in Midtown.
Why did speaking of Jade, so, I mean, and I
Okay.
didn't think about it until you just mentioned it. I didn't realize watching the show that we really didn't learn anything about her personal life, but now that you mention it, yeah, we didn't. Like, we know everything about Taylor, that she was,
Everything.
right, was
More
having some
more than we
issues with
want to
her
know.
marriage.
Yeah.
I mean, even, like, Jordan, we know who she dated, and then she broke up with her boyfriend and
Yep.
came to stay with you. So we didn't know. Even Abby, we saw, right?
Her
She was very
husband, a little
happy,
bit.
like,
She's
at
like, I'm
least
from the South.
happy
Right.
marriage.
You don't get Jade's story.
Yeah.
You don't get like, where did she grow up? And,
Maybe during season 2, someone is going to pull her aside, not you. Some producer would say, this is what needs to be done in
or talk
season
about
2.
yourself, not, yeah.
Then why does that play into then? Because as an audience member, I don't think you understood, like, why did she get so upset in the finale when Abby, was it like,
I
I
think
don't want to give you a storyline, I'm just not fighting on camera? I mean, it is.
it's funny to me because like Abby, the whole thing was everyone knew about everything ahead of time. Abby had come to me like 3 weeks prior and said that like Jade had talked badly about me and that she wanted to bring it up on camera. And I told Abby not to, honestly, because I didn't want Abby to